Okay, so I am going to talk about how to do a pet portrait in the way that I do pet portraits. First, I take the photo given to me by the person who is asking for the commission or the gift. And then, since I'm doing it in black and white, I am going to take out the color, and you can go into editing and just go to noir, and that turns it black and white for you. That makes it a lot easier to get the pencil drawing down. And then I also tend to crop the photo so that it kind of fits the paper the way that I would want it to, so that I know what I'm looking at for drawing. And then as I'm going, I will I'll change the lightness and darkness of the image just to capture different highlights and shadows that you might not be able to see. Like right now, this all looks black, but there's texture in there. So I'll be changing it around. It's kind of hard to get the proper, like the real photo, like on screen. So what I'm going to do now is start out with looking for the shapes, the geometric shapes that I see in the photo. Usually I start out with a circle. This sweet dog's name is Stella. And Stella is slightly diagonal. She's like curiously looking at the camera. So about halfway down the photo and halfway down the paper is where I see this adorable little mouth. So I'm going to add a diagonal here. And then the nose is kind of the most important thing because it shows you where stuff is going to go on the face. So I usually just rep the nose by drawing a circle, even though it's kind of more like squarish, but starting out this way just makes it a little bit simpler. And then her eyes, there's a little bit of space, a little higher up, I think. Her eyes go about right here. It helps to draw the lines. They're gonna disappear eventually. But then looking at the space between the eye and the top of the head, I would say the top of the head is right here. And she has a little bump right there. So since it's kind of like an eyebrow, I'm going to do both sides. So her chin is pretty small. I'm going to go ahead and... Actually, it's not quite that way. Let's see. So from her nose, I can see two diagonals that make kind of like a triangle with her lips. And then the circles to represent the part of the dog's mouth that goes on either side of the nose. This way I can kind of check and see if the eyes are right, and I don't think the eye is quite right, so I'm going to move that over a little bit. This one seems to be fine, but it should probably be a little bit lower since her head is kind of tilted. Then I'm seeing a diagonal right here, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that diagonal, and I see it on both sides. And her ears come off of that diagonal. So since I'm running out of space at the top of the page, I'm just going to let the ear go off the top of the page. That'll give it some nice visual, space taking up. So technically her ear is like a triangle, but there's some extra stuff going on, so I'm adding that. Then I know that her fur is gonna be like, zigzaggy and furry, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there already. But it looks like it's going out instead of in, so I'm gonna fix that and just do a little curve instead. or a little line there. And then on this side, her ear goes out off of the side here. And she's got big old ears for such a little adorable dog. So we're just gonna kind of get those ears put on. Then she has this lower lip that is very characterizing, if that makes sense. And she has a little extra hair on the side, so I'm gonna kind of put that in there. And I see a white spot, so I'm gonna kind of just outline where that might go. And she's got pretty fabulous eyebrows. But first I am going to kind of put the shape that I see of the black down to the nose so that I kind of know where the highlights are going to go. She's going to have a white mouth and some furry white stuff going on there. And the eyebrows wrap around and kind of go like that on both sides. It kind of reminds me of an emperor penguin. So that's usually the mess that I start with. And now I'm going to add her body. So it looks like her shoulder sticks out a little bit from this side. And she's got a nice diagonal there. And then on this side, it just kind of goes straight down. And then she has some like furry bits. And it doesn't really look very good right now, but when I start adding some shading, I'll probably be happier with it. Right now, I think this is terrible and hateful, and I don't like it, but I'm going to keep working it because I think that that will really help a lot. So I'm going to end this section of the video since I have laid out the groundwork, and I don't want my videos to be a million years long. So the next video will show how I add shading.